So today we're starting a 4-week series on love's gifts. And today's talk is going to be on love's gift of light, of that presence, that sense. And that is a great example of love's gift of light. Absolutely. I had a little bit of a difficult time kind of trying to anchor into love's gift of light. Light's a little bit of a slippery topic for me, not because I don't know what it is. We all know what it is, right? Be in the light. I hold you in the light. We use this word all the time, and we know what it means, but it's not very concrete. So how do you talk about something that's so conceptual and so kind of academic in the way we discuss it? So in my attempt to find a way to talk about light, I started at the place where all people start, which is bad jokes. So this is one that you're going to know and understand this basic premise. It's not as bad as a knock-knock joke, but it's close. Light bulb jokes, right? Light bulb jokes. So we all know how this goes. How many narcissists does it take to screw in a light bulb? One. They just hold it and the world revolves around them. Wah, wah. So I wondered, how many New Vision Center for Spiritual Living members does it take to screw in a light bulb? It turns out we have a formal statement on this question. We choose not to make a statement either in favor of or against the need for a light bulb. However, if in your own journey you have found that light bulbs work for you, that's fine. You are invited to write a poem or compose a modern dance about your relationship with your light bulb and present it next month at our annual Sunday light bulb service, in which we will explore a number of light bulb traditions, including incandescent, fluorescent, three-way, long life, and tinted, all of which are equally valid paths to luminescence. Yay! So light. There is a wonderful tradition going back millennia, literally millennia, of talking about light and celebrating light at this time of year. Going all the way back to celebrating the winter solstice, that time when the sun is the least present, and cultures all over the world would have parties, big celebrations, as acts of faith and sympathetic magic, lighting huge bonfires to call back the sun, to welcome it back, and sharing tremendous feasts, which really is an act of faith in the ancient world because it's stating to the universe that I know from the depth of my soul that the sun will come back and we will grow more food. So when we look at this beautiful room that has been elphicized with all these wonderful lights, we're calling on this ancient tradition. There's a reason we say enlightened. There's a reason we say illumined, lit from within. Not reflecting something from the outside, but lit from within. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, has this beautiful quote. The mystics, or those who were illumined, have all had an experience in common. They have seen the cosmic light. That is why it is said they were illumined, they were enlightened. And this is so true for us. That's why we see this. Every culture. It's not just a halo. It's not just a symbol of divinity. It's a symbol of that internal light which represents eternal truth, spiritual depth, real connection, that feeling you get when you absolutely know that you are plugged into divine truth, to the wisdom that belongs to everyone. In our teaching, we take that concept of wisdom, of the light of God, of the light of truth, and we talk about the one mind, that God is sort of this one mind that encompasses everyone and everything. And within this one mind, this one wisdom source is every answer, every solution, every potentiality, every form of healing, every kind of beauty, all of it is present in this one mind. And the beautiful thing about it is that our minds, our hearts, exist as a part of this one. So we're in it and we're of it. We're literally built up of this capacity to know the enormity of truth that is the heart and mind of God, because it's how we're built. We're built to be able to understand this. We're built to be able to transmute this energy. We cultivate this light in our lives through spiritual practice. And there might be some of you out there saying, seriously, she's going to stand up there and talk to us about spiritual practice again? Every time. Forever, kids. Every time. We cultivate it through spiritual practice. And I'm paraphrasing Ernest Holmes here. He said that when someone lives a life that is deeply immersed in prayer and meditation, in spiritual study, they develop a sweetness to them, a light that everybody can sense. They may not know what it is, but you know those people you are just drawn to, that just feel warm and lovely? They have embodied that concept of the light. It just feels good. So it's practice. It's practice more than learning. And I'm a big fan of book learning. I'm a big fan of the book learning, y'all. I love to study. I love to take classes. And we all do. We're a movement of people who like our books. But it's taking it that one step deeper into actually feeling it. Because light isn't really something you can learn about. It's why I was having a difficult time writing a talk about it, because it doesn't break itself into nice, easy little chunks. Because it's a feeling, it's a presence, it's a felt sense of God in your own beingness. You with me? So with your permission, I would like to carry you guys with me into a little bit of a process. And first I'm going to tell you a story. It's from the Sufi tradition, which I love. If you have not studied the Sufi stories, they are beautiful and really meaningful. So this is a story about a cave and the sun. And they became friends, the cave and the sun. But they were having a difficult time finding common ground because, well, one was a cave and one was the sun. And the sun couldn't really understand what dark or dank meant. You know, it was the sun. He hadn't had that experience. And the cave couldn't really understand light or bright or airy. So they decided to visit each other in their own domain so they could become deeper friends. So first the cave went up to the sky to visit the sun. And when he got up there and was shining in the bright light of sunshine and in the blue and in the open and with the birds, the cave said, "Oh, okay, I get it. This is really lovely. I see why you live up here. It's really nice." And so then the sun went down to visit the cave. And when he got down into the cave, he said, "Gee, I don't really notice a difference." Right? Because when you know about the light, when you come to understand the light, you can see it, right? The cave learned. He could see it. But when you are the light, wherever you go becomes lit. He went into that cave and he lit it all up and it was bright and clear and airy. So that's what we seek to do through spiritual practice, is to become the light, to embody it so completely that wherever we go, there is no such thing as dark or dank. There is no such thing as alone or lack. We are the light. So I invite everybody to either close our eyes or soften our gaze and take a nice deep breath. Allowing the chairs to support us, feeling our feet on the floor. And what I invite you to do is to allow to come into your mind an image of a beautiful altar made of the most lovely materials and decorated in a way that is just perfect. And shining down on that altar is the most brilliant, gorgeous light. Almost iridescent. It's magical. And you know in your heart of hearts that this is the light of God. It is the light of truth. which burns away easily and effortlessly anything that is not true. And I invite you to allow to raise up in your consciousness an idea about yourself or your life that you're ready to let go of. And when you have that idea, take it out of your body, out of your mind, out of your heart, and place it on that altar with that light of truth shining down upon it. And watch it burn away. Anything that causes us pain is not the truth of us. It doesn't belong in us. And the light burns it away from us, purifies our heart. And I invite you to approach your altar. And as you do so, feel that light begin to enter your body, starting at the core of you, and slowly diffusing out into every part of your body. That warmth, that healing, that sense of absolute truth. Feel it spread through you until you can feel the warmth in the tips of your fingers and in your tiniest toe. Knowing that the light in you is burning away everything you're ready to let go of. Every hurt feeling, every belief in illness. Feel the presence within yourself, knowing that you are the light. And holding on to this sense of well-being, I invite each person to take a nice, deep, anchoring breath. That felt good. Let's do another one. And as we're ready, ever so gently, we can bring our attention back into this sanctuary and open our eyes. And that's how easy it can be. The biggest obstacle to living in that sense of light is the recognition that we can, that it's that close away, that it's that within our reach. The number one thing we need to do to feel the sense of light in our lives is to choose to feel the sense of light in our lives, in our bodies, in our hearts. That's what we teach in our classes in this movement. That's what we study. That's what we practice. That's what we do in Teze service, which is a chanting and meditation service, the third Wednesday of every month. But without getting political, I am aware I'm in a church and I'm on a pulpit. Without getting political, I think it's safe to say that an awful lot of people in our world right now are feeling like some of the principles we teach in this room are not showing up as light and as bright as we would like them to be out in the world right now. Unity, equality, the right of every person to feel safe, inclusion. So I feel like what the world is calling us to do right now, what God is calling us to do right now as religious scientists, as serious spiritual people, as spiritual warriors, spiritual gangsters, if you will, what we're being called to do is take one step further. It is no longer acceptable to simply sit in the presence and feel it. It's good. We got to do that, right? Because we can't go further unless we do that. But I feel that we are being called on a deeper level to not just experience the presence of light, but to go out and be the light in the real world with all of the people. With all of the people, with the people who've never heard this teaching, with the people that would think we're crazy for having this teaching, or with me, just think I'm crazy. We're being called to be the light, to stand in the light. Does anybody watch Scandal, of all random things? Yeah, binge watch. there's something that Olivia Pope, which is the main character in that show, says very often, and it's, I want to stand in the sun. I want to stand in the sun. And to her, that means to live a life so pure, so bright, that nothing bad could ever happen, and if anything ever does happen that is not sunshiny, that is not the light, she's going to put on her white hat. She's going to do something about it. She's going to do something about it. Something physical, something tangible, something real, something that is the light. She's going to be the sunshine. And that's what I feel like we're being called to do. So as I was working on anchoring into this topic, I went out in search of people who are being the light. Not people of the internet, not people on television, people I know, people I could actually call up and do an interview with, you know? And I heard the most lovely things. I heard about my friend Robin, who is volunteering at an LGBTQ youth facility, helping those kids who are so vulnerable make this transition into an adulthood that they're proud of, that they feel wanted in, that they feel appreciated in. I just love that. I heard from my friend Linda, who has moved to Tennessee. And in Tennessee, they're having fires. Have you guys heard about the wildfires in Tennessee? And so she started a clothing drive for all of those moms. And she's got little Katie is 5. So she's thinking about these moms who have lost everything that their kids own. So she started a clothing drive. Would Linda say she's being the light? I don't know. Maybe. But she is. She's standing in the sun. She's doing something. We see it when we walk through our lobby. Have you guys seen the Christmas tree out there? Our community outreach coordinator, Karen Blakely, and her amazing team have adopted a family for Christmas. And this community has shown up in a way that is so light. That tree is overflowing with gifts. I really wanted Jeff to ride the My Little Kitty bike, but he wouldn't do that for me. There are bicycles out there, there's clothing, there's gift cards to grocery stores. We're being the light for that family. We're doing something concrete. There's so much talk right now about what isn't going to work and what we need to protest and what we need to stand against and what we need to fight. Ernest Holmes said, be against nothing and for something. John Lennon said, when you have a peace rally, I'll be there, but I'm not going to come protest the war. They're pointing to the same thing. Be for something. What do you want to be? What do you want to enlighten in this world? Whatever you're afraid of, be for the solution. So John Pino, everybody knows John Pino, right? He's a friend of this community, and he played congas in the band for a long time. And he reached out to me in the middle of this searching for cool people that we actually know that are doing things, being the light. And he told me about Lezli Goodwin. We've got a picture of Lezli. So Lezli makes these cool robot sculptures. Aren't they cute? They're so cool. So he's a friend of John's, and he lives here in Phoenix. And when John started talking to me about him, I was like, oh, this is how big a nerd I am. Are you ready? I heard about him on NPR. Because that's like as famous as it gets in my world. He was on NPR. Oh my gosh. So Lezli makes these robots out of recycled cans and other things that he finds. The arms are like made out of forks and all these cool things. And he sells them at First Fridays. So he really is anchored into the idea of reusing items and keeping things out of trash fills. But that is not anywhere near the most exciting thing about Lezli. Where he gets these cans is he prepares over 100 meals for homeless senior citizens every Sunday and delivers them himself. He cooks them himself. He used to buy them, and he realized he could feed a lot more people if he cooked them, so he prepares them himself. He delivers them himself every Saturday, and that's where he gets the majority of cans to make into sculptures, to sell it First Friday, to take the money, to buy more food, to feed more people, to make more sculptures, to go to First Friday, and he's been doing it since 2009, every week. If you ask him what he's against in the world, he says, I'm not very political. If you ask him what he's pushing against, he's like, I'm not pushing against anything. I just think everybody should be able to eat. Alexi is being the light. There's a point at which we have to kind of put up or shut up. And maybe you're there today, and maybe you're not, and that's okay. But for me, they actually let me on this stage, so I got to talk about where I'm at today. For me, I'm at a place where I'm continually asking, do I believe what I say I believe? Ministerial student, I'm pretty invested in believing what I say I believe. Do I really believe it? Do I really believe it beyond the confines of my meditation room? Do I believe it beyond the confines of this safe community where everybody kind of feels mostly the same thing about most things? We're all pretty much in agreement. It's a nice, safe place. Do I believe it enough to go out and to stand in the sun as a powerful expression of the fullness of God that I can be? That's what I feel called to. And that's what I invite everybody to join me in. Whatever it is that calls to your heart, do something. And do it from a place of love. Do it from a place of light, a place of recognition that this is what we're made for. This is what we're made for. This is how we're built. To take that light in, to know it, to hold it, and then to express it in absolute fullness. So that is my challenge to each one of us for the coming week and the coming month, to be present to that call. And when it shows up as a little niggle, because it doesn't show up as, unfortunately, God does not come down on a beam and go, you should work with homeless youth. People come to me for prayers about clarity a lot because I think they think that's what's going to happen. Like a voice is going to say, you will work on race relations. That has never happened to me yet. I'm open. But how it shows up for me is this little, this feeling inside of, maybe I'm supposed to know more about that, this draw, this affection I feel for some cause or opportunity. So when that arises within you, whatever it is, be a yes. Be a yes for stepping into service. Be a yes for that donation that pops up on your Facebook feed. Be a yes for standing in the sun, for being for something. Thank you so much. Let's take that into prayer. And so we just close our eyes or soften our gaze and turn inward to that core of ourselves, to that center of our being where we feel that light, where we know absolutely the one truth, the one power, the one beauty that is God in each one of us. And what I know about this one that we call spirit is that it is everywhere and it is endless, overflowing and powerful, beautiful beyond measure. It contains within its very patterning every amount of money that ever could be needed, every amount of energy that ever could be wanted, everything that any of us could ever need to step into the truth of our full expression. And because I am made in the likeness and image of God, as are we all, I can know this truth exists in me that I already have, that we already have. Within reach of our fingertips, the power, the wisdom, the grace, the beauty, and the light needed to make this world look more the way we think it should, to make sure every child is loved, to make sure everyone has enough food, to make sure everyone feels safe, to make sure that our principles that we teach with so much love and power in centers like this all over the world are being made manifest in physical form because we are God in action. We are the light. It is so good to know absolutely that that is the truth, that that is the power, that that is the glory that God calls forth in each one of us. And I know for every one of us that it is natural and easy and beautiful because it's what we are made to do. And I am thankful. I'm so thankful for this community. I'm so thankful for this teaching that has brought these truths to light for me. I'm thankful for every person in this room, every person listening online, every person who ever clicks that button on the website archive. I'm thankful that God's work is being done in and through and as us every moment of every day. It is already done in the mind and heart of God, in that one mind. That perfection already exists. And so it must come forth into physical form because that's the way the law works. So I am a yes. I am a precious and sweet yes to all of the good that all of us can do. And so I release this word into the action of universal law with complete confidence and heart overflowing, knowing that it is so good. God is on the job and it is done. And we anchor this truth as we say together, and so it is.